Okay. Take a minute and see who's here. All right, welcome you guys. Come on in. Welcome to your monthly Ballen Academy webinar. And welcome to my new office. You guys are the first ones to see the new office. Still working on one of my other cameras, but I got everything here in the back. Let me open chat so that I can see you guys. Okay, do me a favor and type in, if you can see the little chat bar, change it to where it says to host and panelists, change it to where it says everyone, and just let me know that you are on. I just want to make sure my chat is working. Jeff, are you seeing chat?
I don't think anybody's chatted yet. Okay. There we go.
There they are. All right, we've got Patty in Maine. Good morning, welcome. I know that a lot of the Keller Williams agents are doing mega camp this week, and I did not mean to plan the event during mega camp. I was actually planning it around my move to a new house, and that's how that happened. So appreciate those of you guys that are here. All right, welcome Dawn Moore from Tampa, Florida. All right, as always, and for those of you that may not have been on the webinars this year, I have Jeff Helvin on with me, and Jeff is my brother. He is also, now he's my neighbor. He's also a real estate agent on my team here in Las Vegas. We serve Henderson, Boulder City, Las Vegas, Summerlin. And he is also the owner of Ballen Brands, which is a digital marketing company that I originally founded and then gave to my brothers, Jeff and Paul, and they now build your websites, they provide content, they run Facebook ads, they work on WordPress websites, KW Command websites. So if they also build out your CRMs and your funnels and automated text messaging. So as you're going through this webinar today, if there's anything that you say, you know, I really want to get more help with that, you're going to reach out to Jeff and Paul. And Jeff is here on the call. He will be answering your questions. If you type anything in, Jeff, why don't you say hi to everybody?
Hey, everybody. Happy to help. I'll be here monitoring the chat and calling Lori's attention if there's something that I can't answer for you, but we're happy to have you here.
And how does somebody get a hold of you should they need help?
So our website is ballenbrands.com. You can always contact us through there or directly through our phone, 702-917-0755. I'll put that in the chat as well. Or you can email us at team@ballenbrands.com.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. So any questions, you guys? Before we get rolling, once I get started, I kind of move pretty quickly, but like I said, Jeff will monitor the questions. And if you have any, and if there's anything he needs to call attention to, he'll say, hey, Lori, and he'll bring me back in with that. I did have, and I meant, I don't want to go through my emails now and try to find it. This morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, I typed you guys up a little list of the content that I was going to go over today. It's on a PDF email. And so I'll put it in Ballen Academy with this playback. That's what I'll do. So then you can get to it that way. All right, cool. Okay. So I am going to go ahead and go to share my screen. I don't know if you guys can hear my cat in the background. He's definitely trying to get somebody's attention. Let me close Facebook. Okay. All right. I don't have my other monitor set up yet, so I can't see what you guys are seeing. So Jeff, if you will just let me know if there's any kind of lag or anything. I'm
Yep.
on it.
Everything
Yeah.
looks good now. Maybe just blow it up a little bit on your screen. It'll make the text larger.
Do
Zoom
what?
in. Just zoom in on the screen a little bit so the text is larger. Yep, there we go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Hi, Gideon. Okay. All right. I am going to pull open. Okay. I'm going to pull open my little list. Are you able to see that list I just opened, or just the screen?
We can see the list too.
Okay. I'm going to put it right there. There we go. We'll see if that doesn't get in the way. That helps me so I can kind of go back and forth. Okay. So what I really want to talk about today specifically is fourth quarter content. What content should you be creating today at the end of August that you would want to be out there and searchable, findable, shareable, all of the things during fourth quarter? This is important because fourth quarter is my highest traffic earner always. And one of the reasons for that is because I do a lot of hyper local holiday things that generate a lot of interest and a lot of traffic. Now, the benefit of doing this, creating holiday type content, is not to generate a direct lead or a direct sale. It's to create a relationship between the visitor that might be, hopefully would be somebody local that lives there, a relationship between them and your computer through tracking, where Google stores a memory that IP address visited this IP address. And when a visitor goes to your website and Google stores a memory of this, through Google Chrome, if the person is logged into their Gmail account, I mean, we're almost always logged into some sort of Google thing nowadays, then the next time that person goes to do a search that would be related to your local area or for real estate, there's a good chance you'll move up higher than you would have because that person has already been on your website. So that's one reason we do it. Another reason we do it is we're trying to create brand awareness. And by getting people to land on our website, we can create this relationship. They're seeing our website, they're seeing our logos, things like that. So that's another reason. Another reason this is valuable to create this hyper local holiday content is that you can build a list. And even today, lists are incredibly valuable. People still open emails and text messages and Facebook posts and things like that through contact lists if it's relevant to them and if it's something that they want to see. People don't open what they would consider junk mail or things that are not valuable. So if what you're sending is not valuable to that person, they will unsubscribe or put you let the junk filters take care of it. So we want to make sure that we're sending the right emails to the right audience. Okay. So what you're able to do with this hyperlocal content is generate traffic. When somebody lands on that page, you can have a pop-up or a button or some sort of a way to make an offer that is relative to what they're searching for. All right, so I'm going to give you some examples here as we go through this. I'm keeping an eye there on the questions. All right, so this one is not even actually my website that I'm going to show you, and it's funny. The reason why is because it's a Halloween one, and I have not yet gone in and updated all my Halloween ones. So my Halloween ones are all forwarding to one single page, so I can't show you my pumpkin patch page today. It'll be back up this fall, provided everything is still open. That had a lot to do with it during the pandemic. We weren't having pumpkin patches and things like that. So I thought, what do I do with all these pages that are generating all this traffic, but it's not valid because they can't go to anything. So I just forwarded it all to one kind of Halloween page that had the disclaimers. But here's a general example of what we do. Pumpkin patches. I'm going to show you this. Let me see if I can log into this account. Okay, I'm in. Okay. I'm in one of my keyword tools here. And up top, I'm going to type in pumpkin patch and watch the search results. Okay, I'm going to go to view all keywords. Pumpkin patch near me has 550,000 searches every single month. It's crazy. It's crazy good. Everybody wants to know where the pumpkin patches are. So right now is the time, because we're talking, these pumpkin patches start popping up October, right? Because a lot of people will do a Halloween type of thing and hay rides and pumpkin patches and all of that. In order for you to rank on the search engines, you may or may not have enough time to get on there this year. But what you could do is create a fantastic page all about pumpkin patches, and then share it in whatever local social media groups you're in. If you can get one of these types of posts to go viral in a mom group or in a neighborhood group of some kind, you will get more traffic than you can possibly imagine. These types of events are super, super popular with the mom groups, we call them. Okay. Obviously there's dads and all that, of course, as well. We've got grandmas, but the mom groups, we just kind of group them all together, are where most of all of the parents of younger children are looking for things to do with their kids. And the holiday range is the gold mine for this. Okay. So this is where you can really attract a lot of locals to your website. So pumpkin patches is going to be the first one that I highly recommend. Now, here's a basic way we go about doing this. Okay. We're going to create a title, and then you can put a little intro. So this is an example of a little basic intro. There's nothing fancy about this whatsoever. And this is like one of the top ranking pages for pumpkin patches. Okay. Mine is very similar. I will add videos if I can find videos, or if I go out and take video, I'll use that every year. When my kids were little, I would go out and video whatever special events we were at, and then I would just keep those circulating on my blogs throughout the year. So you put a title for the pumpkin patch. This one is Halloween Town. And then when it's open, and then put in the locations. Operating hours would be helpful. Think to yourself, if I were going to this type of event, what would I want to know? Dates, location, times, and costs. Those are generally what we want to know about those. Okay. So here we have general pricing. Okay. And then we go to the next one. And look and see, as you can see, Magical Forest has been canceled for 2020. That's why a lot of these hyper local things are more challenging at a time when we're going through what we're going through. So provided, I would go at these, creating them as if they're going to be open. Jeff?
Yeah, and what's interesting about that, Lori, it's also saying 2020. So it's probably a holdover from last year. And maybe we don't know yet if it'll be open this year. Right, because it actually says that Halloween is
100%. Yeah, this is definitely, it's definitely last year's blog.
Yep, which is part of the strategy, right? Update the same blog year to year, not creating a new annual blog, correct?
Yes. So best practice is exactly what Jeff just said. Thank you, Jeff. That's a very good point. Rather than making a new blog post every year, Halloween 2021, Halloween 2020, Halloween 2019, and having all of these separate pages, all you're going to do is go in and update the same page every year. So don't put a date in the URL. Like some people, when they create their blogs, especially on WordPress, they don't change it. They leave the default URL or permalink, we call that in WordPress. They leave it set to add the date. And then as soon as the date's over, your blog's considered outdated. Instead, name this page like best pumpkin patches. You know, your title and your URL don't have to be the same thing. But for example, she has Las Vegas pumpkin patches and corn mazes with no date. Okay, so you could just have Las Vegas pumpkin patches and or best pumpkin patch Vegas, best pumpkin patch San Diego, whatever, or keep it shorter in the URL, but don't put a date anywhere up top. But if you put dates down here, it's fine because this is all editable. It won't break when you make your changes. Okay. I like this one too, this Gilchrist orchard. There's a list here of what to expect at Gilchrist orchard, because this is kind of this is one where they have a lot of animals. So they talk about their, you know, wear shoes that can get dirty because you might be stepping in poo. I mean, literally that's on their checklist. So these are good, valuable tips. Okay. All right. Now on her blog post here, she has ads all over the place. This is common. You'll see that on some of mine too. So her reason for creating this type of blog post isn't, she's not a real estate agent. Her thing is she makes money off all these ads. So she builds this website and puts all of this hyperlocal things to do for kids. It's all about kids and things to do on here to make money with ads. Where in your case, in our case, as real estate agents, we want to be thinking about somebody just landed on this page. How can I get them to, one, see my brand, understand it's about real estate, and more importantly, how can I make an offer that this person will register for? Because that is how I'm going to create something long-term. Now, one of the best things I ever did, and I really should bring this back because it was a lot of work, but it's really golden. This was back, I did have more help back then. I'm kind of a one-man show now in the admin and marketing department and all that. I created a really, really cool, this was, COVID had a lot to do with why I backed off too, but I created a really cool automated funnel, sales funnel, let's just call it. Okay, a funnel. So for those of you that don't know, a funnel is a campaign that is automated. We also sometimes call those drip emails, but mine would sometimes have text and other touches, direct mail touches and things like that. But an automated email sales funnel, okay? And what I would do is when somebody filled out the form, as soon as it popped up and they filled out the form, then they would go into my CRM, okay? And the CRM that I favor is called Keep, K-E-A-P. If you're interested in Keep, talk to Jeff and Paul because they're the ones that built all this for me. They're the ones that build all this and sell it. They can help you with all that. It was once called Infusionsoft, but there's been a lot of changes to make it easier to use. And now they have their Keep, different versions of Keep. So what they would do is they'd fill out this form. The form would then apply a tag. The tag would say Las Vegas locals. That was just how I did it. My tag said Las Vegas locals. And as soon as that tag hit Keep, my CRM, the funnel would start sending them email newsletters. Okay. Now, what I would do is the automated ones were like every month on the major holidays, they would get a list, a little email from me that would say something like, hey, Jane, just wanted to make sure you saw the upcoming events for this fall. Here's a list of, and then I would have pumpkin patches. And when they click pumpkin patch, it would go to this, whatever my blog is. Okay. The concept here is then you don't have to update anything. That email would still stay fresh and relevant every year, because when they click it, it goes to your updated blog. So as long as you're updating that blog every year, this drip email never has to be changed. Okay. So thought you might want to, and I would list the pumpkin patches, the haunted houses. What else was on that list? I lost my list. Haunted houses, pumpkin patches. Okay. Those are my main ones for October. Pumpkin patches and haunted houses. I've tried some other ones like the Safe Street trick or treat kind of things, costume exchanges and where to get costumes. But the pumpkin patches and the haunted houses are the two that do really well for me historically. Okay. So those are ones that you don't have to change. They'll automatically go out. So when somebody lands on one of your hyper local pieces and they get this little pop up, the offer is be updated regularly on the best things to do in Las Vegas. Okay. So what that, they're signing up for a best of locals list, things to do. Man, I have done so many marketing strategies with pop-up and offers. Nothing generates like the hyper local list. It's insane. The parents, the grandparents, everybody, they will sign up for things to do for their kids. Now, on another call, I can teach you how to monetize that and make money on it in other ways besides real estate, if you got really good at it and enjoyed the process of doing it, because there's a lot of money that can be made through other avenues besides just real estate when you get the traffic. He who has the traffic gets the money. There's lots of ways to monetize this besides just real estate. Now, what I would do is on these emails, there's a little note underneath that it says, and if you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell real estate, I'm your favorite local Las Vegas real estate agent. And then underneath that, I would have my phone number, my license info, my picture, like a little digital signature, and a link for them to click to view all homes for sale, see what just listed. Okay. Now I'm going to show you some more ideas, but in addition to this, I also, for a while, and it was just so good, I started sending weekly newsletters. And Keep has a beautiful newsletter, easy newsletter layout. There's even a way to automate, and I've never learned this. My assistant had done it, but there's a way that you can take your blog posts and send out a weekly newsletter automatically that's a digest of all your blog posts. But what I would do is I would sit down and I would put, or every month, let's just say monthly, okay? Because weekly, it is a lot of work. Let's just say monthly. So this is August. Let's say you want to do one for September, okay? So here's how I would find out what's going on in September. I would go over to Facebook. So many cool hacks for this kind of stuff to find out what's happening and what's popular. And so I would go to events. Hold on, let me just find where it's at on my bookmarks. All right, so I can't find it right now. Go up here, type in events, and you'll get to all the events that are happening in your area. Okay. Now there's ways to sort through this, but right here, here's all the upcoming events: Ladies Night Out, Back to School Bash. Click see all, and you'll get to look at this: end of summer, Boulder Station. Oh, and here's what's really cool. This I did not realize was happening, but it makes perfect sense. So I just moved from Las Vegas to a really small town called Boulder City. Now it's only 30, 40 minutes outside of Vegas. So we still serve the whole area, real estate, nothing changed there. But it still is a small town that has its own local places and things like that. Well, this is now sorting this based on my location. You can't ask for anything better than that for hyper local, right? So if I wanted to now go create what's happening in September in Boulder City, let's just say I want to start farming Boulder City and I want to start building an email list for Boulder City. So I'll start creating blogs and build an email list, things to do in Boulder City this week. This month is better because there's not going to be that many things going on. If you're in a big town, a big city, you could do this weekly because there'll be so much stuff like Vegas. But if you're in a smaller place, you're probably going to want to go with a month. You know, it might even be a quarterly publication you send out, whatever. So the 8-year anniversary car show. So that might be worth creating a blog about, or at least putting on my email list. End of summer celebration, sunset sessions at Lake Las Vegas down the street, right? So this is kind of the idea. Now, what'll start happening is farmers markets are another big one. That is, people love to look up farmers markets. That's absolutely another one, okay? So you can look all the way through here. If you wanted to sort this a little more specifically, in events, you can go down here to categories and you can start looking at things specifically by category. You can choose only family-friendly events. How cool is this? I love this feature, and very few people know this is here. Which events are popular with your friends? You can turn on free events versus paid events, location of the events. Okay, so there's that kind of thing. Now, what's really cool too is when you click on one of these events, it's going to start showing you events that are related to that event or popular with friends. So for example, Henderson Farmers Market, if I scroll down, I can see here, oops, I've got a Facebook message there. I can see Las Vegas Balloon Festival's coming up. That might be something worth including in my newsletter, okay? Do you guys, are you still here? I haven't seen anybody chat anything. Is this valuable? Are you getting some ideas? Anybody already doing this kind of thing? There we go. Good. You're all still there. Patty says, would it be a good idea to do what's happening in September that you update each year? Okay, Patty, thank you for asking that question, because let me differentiate a couple of things for you, okay? It depends, how you create your content and title it and set it up has to do with a couple of things. Do you want people to find your blog post on Google when they do a search? Or is this just going to be to go viral in the mom groups and for your mailing list? Because you might set them up a little bit differently. I set it up first for Google. Everything I do is set up for Google first. So I go over to Google. Nobody's really typed, well, let's go look. Things to do in September. Things to do in September. Let's just see if anybody types that in rather than guessing, right? We've got some search volume data here we can look at. Okay, not very many. We just went from 550,000 searches on pumpkin patches to 320 searches a month for all of the United States. So that would tell me that if I'm going to create a blog post in September, it's probably not going to be something people are Googling, but it might be very valuable to do for my email subscriber list. Okay. Instead, what I would do is go look at what events are popular in September that people do Google. Okay. Now they will use words like the fall, things to do in autumn. Autumn, fall depends on your location. Dinner, supper, they depend on your location, how people search. Okay. Things to do in autumns. Still not very many doing that. Let's check fall. Things to do in fall. Nope. Niagara Falls. Things to do in the fall. 3,600 people. search things to do in the fall. So you could create, instead of September is still summer until what, the third week or something like that. So you could do things to do in the fall. And you wouldn't even have to add the words in Las Vegas because Google knows your location. So when somebody goes on their mobile device or on their laptop or on their desktop, whatever it is, and they type in things to do in fall, Google will return local listings for them because it knows where they are based on all of our devices. So you don't actually even have to type in.
Yeah, the only point on that is if you're attracting out of state people, they would specifically put in the search of where they're going as opposed to, so local stuff. Yeah, not necessarily.
This is a very good point. So to Jeff's example, let's just say I want to focus on out of towners. Being in Vegas, the greater Las Vegas area, it might be a good idea for me to be creating content that that appeals to visitors. I do things like best roller coasters, best theme hotels, best places to get pizza, where to have your 21st birthday. I do all of those things as well. And again, the concept is now you're going to build a visitor list instead of local people that live here. So in those cases, you would type that in. All right. So if you're going after Google, you've got to find what people are searching in. What holiday, okay, so let's look at what happens in September? Is that Labor Day? What else do we have in September that people are, Memorial Day, Labor Day? I always get those mixed up.
Yeah, it's Labor Day is in September.
All right, let's go. Things to do on Labor Day. Okay, 1,300 monthly searches, fun things to do on Labor Day. So to me, that's not going to generate a massive amount of traffic, but it's worth doing because people Google it. I can put it on my drip list. You could put that on your automated drip list, and every year on September, whatever, before the holiday or the last week in August, you can, yeah, I think the holidays on like September 4th, 5th, somewhere in there. So the last week of August, you could send that out, fun things to do for Labor Day. So now you're fulfilling the search, you're attracting search traffic, you're attracting local traffic. You can send that to your email list. You can share it in any of your local groups. Nextdoor, Ring has groups now. I mean, all these little separate, all these devices, you can share those on. Okay, so any of the events in the fall would be appropriate for your newsletters and for your blogs. Okay. I also have, that was October. For Christmas, for the holiday season specifically, my two best ones are where to see holiday lights and where to get Santa photos. The holiday lights one, this is insane what happens at Christmas. Insane. Okay. So this is my blog you're looking at now. And again, these are the websites that Jeff and Paul at Ballen Brands build. This is called a brew. It's a WordPress website that has the IDX and the homes to search for instant home values, all of that. And what I do every year is I go in and I update this list, and it goes viral before Thanksgiving. I mean, and I get emails from people begging me to add their house to my list. It's insane. I mean, it's shocking. And this isn't unique to me. I'm not special. Anybody who does these holiday lights tells me the same thing, that once it gets shared in one of those mom groups, and as long as they're at the top of Google, if they're focused on search, they get more traffic in December than the entire year on all their other pages on their website. And that's the same for me. this becomes my number one, and it'll blow away everything for the entire year. So it's worth doing. Now, here's what I do. I make a list of the homes that they can go visit, and I separate them. I did this last year. I separated them by Northwest, East Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, Southwest, because if you're in a big city, people want to have lists based on areas. Okay. Now, what would really be cool one of these days, I don't know, we may just break down and do it. What would be really cool is to have an app and to allow the person to pull up their phone and have it navigate them from one house to the next house. Okay. Every year I plus this, I go in and find, how can I make this better? How can I make it better? And I tried one last year by zip codes, and I put it on a Google map, but we found that the Google maps aren't super mobile friendly, and they would be stretching it, trying to go from one to the other. So that really wasn't the answer either. Jeff and I actually took it out and took the kids shop looking at houses, and we were like, no, that's not going to work that way either. So now I separated them by the areas. So let's say somebody lives in Summerlin, which is an area in Vegas. Now they can go look at the top ones in Summerlin specifically. Okay. So look at all of these in Henderson. So if somebody lives in Henderson, so I was separating them by zip code. So they would go to these first, and then those are all 89012, 89, but I want to find a way where we can map these and it'll give them directions to drive around. And then at the bottom of this, did I turn it off right now? There is a form that I have on here where they could submit their own house. Maybe it's at the top. Let me see. Maybe I have it by pop-up form. Well, I have it off right now anyway, because it's not the holiday season. But what I do is there's a form on here or a pop-up where they can submit their house or somebody they know. And I don't know if you have noticed this, but when people put up holiday lights on their house, they are super competitive and they want the most traffic at their house. So it's a big deal to be mentioned and to be on here. Taking videos of the houses is a great idea. You also can go over to YouTube and do a search for your city holiday lights, and you'll find a bunch of people have put their houses already on YouTube, and you can just use the share link and put it right on your blog. And that's part of the terms of licensing. You're not stealing content, you're sharing it straight from YouTube. And by using that link without editing anything or changing anything in the video, you're allowed to use that shared video. Okay. So if you start this, you can just clean up on traffic. You could build an email list during the, let's just say the fourth quarter, that would keep you busy for a long, long time. On your newsletters, you're going to want to make sure that you have new listings in the newsletter. So my newsletter was it wasn't best of Vegas, because we have something here called best of Vegas, but I can't remember what I think it was just Las Vegas locals. And then I had a Facebook group that worked directly with the newsletter, and I would bring in all these subscribers. And when I say it's mainly just because it is work, and you've got to be really willing to sit down and put these things together, because there's no sense in building an email, generate all this traffic, building an email list if you're not going to do anything with it, right? So I just found myself, like 3 or 4 weeks would go by and I wasn't sitting down to send out the next one. I'm going, okay, priorities. I guess I've got other things I'm building, so maybe that one's not getting that priority. And that'll have to be a choice that you make. It will require regular updating. And the more you do of this, the more Google will start to look at your website and rank you for other things related to your city. So I rank really high for things like tiny homes in Las Vegas. So tiny home living. I rank high for our Airstream Park and downtown Las Vegas and tiny homes. And then I rank for things like what snakes are in Las Vegas, what to do if you see a coyote, how to get rid of bees. I've got a whole bunch of insect and animal ones that do really well here. And people will go look for those things. And when Google says, oh, well, Lori Ballen's website is getting all of this traffic because people want to know what snakes are in Las Vegas. Well, then they probably also would find her where to see holiday lights in Las Vegas blog valuable. So it helps move up other things. And when those categories do well, it helps your overall website do well. And another really valuable thing that comes from this specific blog post, especially, is it generates a lot of backlinks. And what backlinks are is when another website links to your website. Another website links to a page on your website. So it used to be, now the news channels have gotten smarter. It used to be the news channels would say something like, and here's the best place to go see holiday lights. Like they're putting out a things to do in the holidays, but they weren't at the time sitting down and creating all these lists. So they would link to my list, right? And that backlink, now they've gotten smart and they're creating their own, but that backlink sends a signal to Google that this website, this valuable news website that has a lot of domain authority and trust and is linking to Ballen Vegas, specifically this holiday lights blog. So that must mean that Ballen Vegas deserves a little bit more authority as well, deserves a little bit more love from Google, right? A little bit more attention. So it helps, these backlinks help your overall website gain what's called domain authority. And the more domain authority you have, the more of these valuable backlinks, the better you rank for all of your other pages. So it'll help this page rank higher, but then in turn, there's a flow that helps the other pages on your website. So it's not just about how do I get a real estate sale today? It's how this works in the bigger scheme of things that makes it so valuable. Okay. Especially if you're doing any kind of search engine optimization, if you're working on Google, these local things are incredibly valuable. Okay. So I covered the Christmas list, Santa photos. That was another one that went down, of course, during the pandemic, but I'll give you an idea. So when you look at my stuff, you can see there's a very common thread. And inside Ballen Academy, I teach you all your formatting. So everything has a title. It's got an intro. And then there's usually this table of contents that people can click on and it'll skip them right down to the next item. Now with this website, with the brews that Paul and Jeff build, the table of contents is actually automated. It's created for you dynamically, automatically, based on the items in your list. So when we create a new item, this one is the town square, Santa. The next one is Mandalay Bay. Shark Reef has Santa. These are created using something called heading tags. So we have these heading tags are very much like a table of contents. So if you were going to a seminar, let's just take, not everybody, a lot of people here are not Keller Williams. So I'm just going to use that as an example. Right now we have Keller Williams Mega Camp happening. So it's a seminar, right? So at the very top, you've got your notebook or whatever, you would probably title it Mega Camp 2021, right? So that you know what to call it. Well, that's the title of your blog. That's an H1, a heading one being the most important thing on this page. What everything is about is that title. That's an H1. Now, typically the items on my list or the headings in each paragraph are an H2, a heading 2. So I'm at Mega Camp 2021 and at 9 a.m. it's Gary Keller's opening speech. So I would title this Gary Keller's opening speech. And then I'd start making my notes, right? Just like a headline. So that number 2 is going to be a heading 2. All right. That's what this is. And that's what's creating this table of contents for you automatically. Okay. So that's cool. And these have a lot of benefit. I don't have time to go into all of today, but it helps your listings when they show up on Google. You can get some enhanced features on your listing by creating these lists like this. So it has a lot of value for search. It's also very valuable to the consumer, because if I'm on here looking for where to go see Santa and I skim this real quick and go, oh, I'm right near the Galleria Mall, let me click that one. It'll shoot it down right to that specific listing. And now the person doesn't have to scroll. And on a mobile device, that's going to be a lot of scrolling when you're creating these long listicle type of blog posts. Okay. So they can click here, they can make their reservations, they can see their picture. Okay. So that's another very popular one. You have your pop-up, best things to do in Las Vegas. Now your pop-up could be see the latest real estate listings, but you just have to know that when you make an offer that is outside of what that person is looking for example, let's say I'm online and I'm looking for a new digital camera. And I type in best digital cameras and I land on a blog that's all about digital cameras. If a pop-up shows up that says, get this coupon and save 10% on the top digital cameras, I'm likely to fill it out. But if a pop-up shows up that says, here's a list of get recent lists of the best, I almost said VCRs. I don't think those exist anymore. My tired brain, VCRs. Get a list of the top televisions of 2021. That's probably not going to be super relative to me. Generally, the offer will say something like top tech list, where we review the latest technology. I might be interested in that if I'm looking at digital cameras. So you want your offer to be as relative as possible to what that visitor's reading. Then you want the email funnel list or the text message or face bots or whatever you're using. You want that to also be in line with what your offer was. The more you get those three things together, the more those are in line with each other, the content, the offer, the email list, the better your open rates are going to be, the better your click-through rates are going to be. So you really want to focus on keeping those in line as much as possible. Okay. I'm telling you, you could run the biggest business you could imagine if you get this hyper-local stuff down and you're willing to put in the work, because it does work. Now you can hire Jeff and Paul for this as well. They do all of this. They build the they'll do your Santa Claus photos, your best holiday lights, all of those kinds of things. If you're gonna build these or hire them out, you really need to get ahead of it as early as you possibly can. The challenge with things like holiday lights is they'll be popping up all the way from Thanksgiving to Christmas. So if you hired somebody to build it, they would go through all of the stuff that's available for last year, but they wouldn't necessarily know what was new, or, so you'd either have to hire them to update it or you would have to go in and update it. That's just something to keep in mind. Pumpkin patches and things like that are pretty straightforward. There's not, once you get a list of those, they're not popping up everywhere. But houses where people put up Christmas lights, I mean, we add new ones every year. It's funny, I do get some every year that somebody will call me or email me and say, please take my name off your list. I got 100 cars outside of my house and we just bought the house and we're not doing Christmas lights. So they would buy the house from the person that had the big display last year, and I would have no way of knowing until somebody lets me know. That's going to happen. So expect to have a lot of communication during the holiday season if it goes viral. Okay. All right. So I covered the hyper-local stuff. Now, I went through this morning and I opened my Google Analytics and I made a list of all of my top blog posts from fourth quarter of 2020, just to tell you what the top ones are in case you want to go create any posts. So besides the hyper-local, my tiny house living was number 1. Number 2 is my utilities list, where to get power, cable, water, how to forward your mail. Like that's what that one is. My third one is my Las Vegas real estate market report. So guys, I preach this till the cows come home. You gotta have a real estate market report. You've just gotta have a real estate market report. It's a lot of work too, and requires a lot of updating. In fact, mine's, I got to add second quarter in there. January, February, March, April, May, June. Yeah, I guess I only did first quarter. So this, your real estate newsletters will generate instant home value requests, people that want to know what their house is worth. It generates people that start surfing your IDX. This is a real estate lead generator. You could also make an offer and say every month be updated on the real estate, what's happening in your neighborhood, and you can send out a real estate market newsletter and build subscribers from this page. This one does well for me all year long. It's my #1 listing generator for sellers. So really worth doing. And then you can see here I have homes for sale, so they can start surfing around homes for sale. And then here's all of last year's home prices. So if they want to go through and look at what home prices were last year compared to what they were this year. The past, this is supposed to be the past 5 years, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to go look at what I did there. I just don't have my heading on that column. I just noticed for some reason. Okay, so, and then I have links to other pages on my blog post. So the real estate market report generates me a lot of traffic all year long. When I was super actively working on my real estate team, and I say was a lot only because at this point I have a team, but our model is a little different than it was when I first started. So everybody's kind of independent. It's not the same type of team format that it was at one time. Back in the day, we would make a video market report as well. And that was really valuable on our YouTube channel. It brought in a lot of interest, and people like to see voices and see people's style. And when you're making a monthly real estate market report and they're watching you, they start to go, I really trust this person, or I really like this person, or I like his style, or I like her knowledge, or whatever. So putting it on YouTube is also a plus. And then we would put the YouTube video right on the blog post itself. So those are valuable. So anyway, and then here is, I have a call to action to get your instant home value. And what that does is it opens a new page. And here I have an instant home value calculator that they can fill out. And then I generate leads that way. Again, this is something Jeff and Paul build on the websites. And this is also some tool that you can get from a third party and embed it on your website also. So I'm not sure how many of you guys have that, but that helps me also generate seller leads as well. Okay, so the real estate market report, damn, I'm blown away by the fact that this is January, February, March, April, May, June. Yeah, gosh, almost the end of third quarter. Okay, I've been very busy, clearly. So then we have snakes in Las Vegas. And this was a little blog post that I did. I've got some videos in here. I've got pictures. I've got what kind of snakes, how to remove snakes, what you need to know about snakes, which ones are poisonous, which ones are not poisonous. You can find all pictures like this for free on Canva, and you can have copyright free rights to use those pictures. I did one right before I moved. It was the last big blog post that I did on all the birds in Las Vegas, and it's not ranking yet. It takes up to 10 months usually to get a blog post to rank really well, depending on how competitive it is. I can't wait for that one to hit. And I think I must have posted 100 birds, and every bird was on Canva. I was able to put the pictures on there. Do I have a search feature here? Hold on, I just wanted to see blog. Up, Birds of Las Vegas. Okay, look at this. So all of these pictures, there's the hawk, there's the American kestrel, American crow, the golden eagle, the bald eagle, the great horned owls. All of these pictures were on Canva. I was blown away. I was like, wow, I can't believe it. I used to pay like, I had the most ridiculous monthly subscription with Shutterstock, or I'd pay 20 bucks, 25 bucks sometimes to download a picture. And now they're all free. I'm like, wow, that's come a long way. Canva is the most underutilized tool around. I'm telling you, it's just incredible. Okay. So I built this one this year, knowing that it'll be popular next year when people start searching. So that snakes one is incredibly popular. And then I know we're almost done. 101 real estate facts. Now I put this one in here because this one's starting to do really well, but it has taken a long time to climb up the search engines, but all of a sudden it's really getting a lot of visits. I just created a blog post with 101 real estate facts that people may not know. It's not local. It's not about Vegas. So for example, the first hotel ever built was created in New York City. And it's just a little blog about, and I really created this blog post for Pinterest because I was testing how these pins would do on Pinterest, and they actually did pretty well. The Louisiana Purchase, when property taxes began, but you could make this local. 20 things that only locals know about San Diego, 20 things that only locals know about such and such Kentucky. I don't know, just wherever you are. And like in Vegas, there's this whole TikTok series that I really love. And I keep telling myself if I actually get back to sitting and blogging on real estate as much as I am on my other niche sites, I would take this idea. The TikTok idea is they're doing like hidden bars. It's so cool. Like if you go to such and such on Fremont Street and go up the second step, I'm making this up, but the second step of ladders and knock on the third door, it'll open. It looks like the back of a kitchen, go straight forward. So you see the blue star and you open it and there's a club back there, like a whole club, but you have to know this private way in. So those are cool things. Or it could be only the locals know, and it could be something, some kind of slang, some kind of thing that we all refer to as the such and such that other people would call something else. And you want to make sure that, people understand that's the local thing. Hole in the wall type of restaurants that nobody would ever think of, but it's absolutely remarkable. Everybody needs to go to it. Those are the kinds of things that you might want to put on yours. And then I have a blog here called Will New Construction Hurt My Home Value? Just a blog I wrote about if you have new construction popping up around your house, is it going to hurt your home value? That one does really well. That was one of the top ones, fourth quarter. How to buy a house is one of my top ones every month. And it covers everything from escrow, the home buying process, getting a mortgage, multiple offer situation. All of that is on one big, long, comprehensive guide. And that one does really well. And then the other one is capital gains, all about capital gains. Everybody wants to know about capital gains taxes. So if you have not sat down and written about capital gains in your state, it would be advantageous of you to do that. So those are all of my fourth quarter, top performing fourth quarter content. I did not include some of the little IDX searches, homes for sale with a basement, mother-in-law quarters. I stuck mostly to the blog styles on this one. Well, completely to the blog styles. All throughout the year, the pages that homes for sale with a mother-in-law quarters in Summerlin, those kind of things do well all year long. Any questions? I can breathe now. How about you? Was that valuable? You guys got some stuff out of there that you're excited? Anybody know 100% what you're going to go out there and create next? Would love to hear what you guys are going to do. If you have questions, of course, you can message me, you can email me, you can ask Paul and Jeff. They also can give you directions. All right, so I will let you guys know what our topic is next month shortly, and I'll put a date on the calendar and send out the Zoom links. and we will start working on the next one. If you have any requests, let me know. Otherwise, have a super great day. Appreciate you guys all being here, and we will talk to you later.